PSG, Tonono Zonis, PSG, ici c'est Paris, tout ça, les que à jamais, tout c'est vous, tout le PSG, allez, Paris Saint-Germain, allez, Paris Saint-Germain, allez, Paris Saint-Germain, allez, Paris Saint-Germain. Hello, welcome back to Kobo Sports Room. We talk about football, everything football. So this is your Champions League review. I gave you the preview. We discussed certain things in the preview. We will discuss the same thing in the preview because we saw some of the things that I talked about in the game. So this is the Champions League review, the big Champions League review. You know what? I'm wearing this. So let me just quickly remove it, put it down, and let's talk. Okay, so of course, click on the subscribe button, press the post notification bell. This is Kobo Sports Room, and this is your Champions League review. Let's get straight into the video. So we are starting with the lineups, the teams, the two teams went into the game with. Not much changes, came in. PSG was the same PSG. It was the same lineup we were expecting. So, Gigi Donnarumma as the goalkeeper. We had Hakimi, Nuno Mendes, William Pacho. We'll talk about that guy. He's a solid player. We'll talk about William Pacho, Marquinhos, Vitinha, Joao Neves, Fabian Ruiz. And then we have Kvicha Kvaratskhelia, Dembele in the middle or as the false nine, a dynamic false nine. And then Desiree Doué, a special boy. We'll talk about Desiree Doué too. But when we checked the Inter Milan lineup, we saw that Inter Milan did one change in their lineup. Mostly it was Basic who was, playing as the right-sided centre-back in their three-back system. But this time around, we have Benjamin Pavard coming in as the right centre-back in their three-back system. Jan Suma as the goalkeeper. Francesco Acerbi, Alessandro Bastoni, Denzel Dumfries, Federico Di Marco. We had Henrik Mkhitaryan, Hakan Çalhanoğlu, Nicolo Barella, Marcos Thuram, and Lautaro Martinez completing the starting lineup for Inter Milan. I don't know what changed, but Basic came into the game actually, and then he also went off with an injury. So we don't know what actually changed in the dressing room. All of a sudden, Benjamin Pavard started. But my problem is not even with Benjamin Pavard because I feel like Benjamin Pavard had the experience. He has played World Cup finals and all of that. So he must be ready for this task. Honestly, if you are playing Benjamin Pavard in a Champions League final, that is nothing, right? But, PSG won by 5 goals to 0. If we tell you this was a final, you won't believe it. If you let's take it as you didn't watch the final, and then you come to me, Kobo, what was the scores for the Champions League final? And I tell you PSG won 5 goals to 0. You wouldn't believe it, right? You wouldn't believe it, right? You wouldn't believe it. But it was 5 goals to 0 against Inter Milan, an absolute disgraceful result. The PSG, just violated Inter Milan just like that. 5 goals to 0. And we will discuss why it was 5 goals to 0 or why PSG was able to score 5 goals and Inter Milan didn't score a goal in the game. A Champions League final. 5 goals to 0. Bro, I don't think this has ever happened. I mean, when the champions, since, we started the Champions League, 1992, I don't think this has ever happened before. 5 goals to 0 in a final. This is an absolute disgrace. It's not like Inter Milan is a bad side. Inter Milan is not a bad side. So to concede 5 goals against PSG, there must be something. There must be a reason why that thing happened. And then, Hakimi scored very early in the game, 12 minutes. Very, very early in the game. Desiree Doué assisted the goal. And then let me tell you, in my preview, I told you that, or I said that, Inter Milan must go into the final without the mindset of going to sit back and allow PSG to possess the ball. Because I said it, I remember vividly, I said it that if you allow PSG to possess the ball, they will score you at least 3 goals. That is at least 3 goals. I said it in my preview. And then I don't expect Inter Milan to lay back and watch PSG play the game. No. If you sit back and you allow PSG to possess the game, you are going to, at least concede 3 goals. Trust me, you are going to at least concede 3 goals. So the counter-attacking football must be, built in such a way that you are not sitting back. You also you sit back, allow this PSG team to have the ball, more of the ball. They will score you at least 3 goals. I said it. And they eventually scored them 5 goals to 0. Because I saw it in the first 20 minutes that Inter Milan were not ready for the final. They have been training. They have been, I don't know whether it was a shock from the Scudetto or any other. I don't know. But in the first 25 minutes, Inter Milan were not ready for the final in the first 25 minutes. So you saw that when the goal came, the DOUE goal came, and that was where Inter Milan started to take the ball and actually do something, possess the ball and do something. But they even had a 0 shot on target in the first half. So from the 20 minutes going, Inter Milan came into a realization that no, this is actually a final. We should be able to play it. We should be up to task. But it was too late. It was too late. Because the PSG team, you could clearly tell that there is a coaching thumbprint. There is a coaching impact on the players. The way they possess the ball, the way they create spaces for themselves, the way Nuno Mendes will operate. Hakimi, you will find Hakimi in certain dangerous areas. This is a coaching pattern. There was a coaching pattern in the team. I mean, these are not extraordinary players. On any day, if we are to go toe to toe, these are not extraordinary players. Bro, you can even talk about maybe, let's say, top players, maybe let's say Kvicha Kvaratskhelia, Gigi Donnarumma, Marquinhos, Hakimi, probably maybe Dembele. These are like normal players. But because of coaching, you saw how these guys were able to dominate even the method and even dominate the flanks. Hakimi was having fun. He was basically having fun. In the first goal, I was even shocked to see that space. DeMarco, then the boys, Achebe, Bastoni, they were all going for one space, and then Hakimi just had the ball on the silver platter. Hakimi scored the goal. So this is a coaching pattern on the team. But let's check out some stats in the first half according to Opta O. In the first half, what actually happened in the first half? It will give you a depiction of how disappointing Inter Milan was in the first half. So in the first half, goals was, of course, 2 goals to 0. XG was 1.42 as against 0.19. Inter Milan, a final, and you have XG in the first half of 0.19. It means that you didn't show any threat to even score a goal or to even play a shot on target. And the shots were 13-2. Of course, 13-2. PSG could have scored more in the game. In the first half, they played 13 shots as against 2 shots of Inter Milan. They played 5 shots on target in the first half. Inter Milan had 0 shot on target. So I'm not shocked that their XG was 0.19. I'm not shocked at all. Possession, of course, 62-38. So this is Opta Analyst, and it will give you a depiction and also affirm the fact that Inter Milan were not ready in the first 20 minutes for this final. I don't know what they were thinking, but they were not ready. Honestly, they were not ready. I quickly posted something on X, on my socials, Inter Milan putting Hakan Çalhanoğlu up front and all of that, what they needed to do, but they came into the second half with a mindset to attack. You sat there for PSG to score you 2 goals to 0 in the first half. You come back in the second half and you want to attack. That was where PSG baited, Inter Milan. They got them. They got them off guard. And they started scoring. It was coming. Left, right, center. DOUE scored in the 63rd minute. Kvicha Kvaratskhelia in the 73rd minute. And then Mayubu. Mayulu muna kra nya goal ni bi ahye bro. Mayulu kra Champions League final and he scores against Inter Milan. Bro, Inter Milan didn't give us a game. Inter Milan, I was expecting something special. Probably maybe extra time or something. I predicted 2-1 because I felt like it would be a close context, but this is an absolute disgrace. This is a violation from PSG. So big congratulations to them, but we have to big up certain players. going forward, I don't know what Simeone Inzaghi will do, because they asked Simeone Inzaghi about his future, and then he was saying something like, we will see in the next date. When you see players or coaches starting to talk like that, you should know that, man, things are going on back doors. Things are actually going on back doors. But there has been links of Simeone Inzaghi and then Al Hilal, the best team in Asia. There has been talks going on for Simeone Inzaghi to come and take the Al Hilal job. Of course, he can do that. Of course, he can do that. But let's move to Inter Milan. Actually, we want to move to Inter Milan. We want to know where the problem was coming from. The front line were not moving enough. They were not moving into spaces enough. I know pressing game is not Inter Milan game. No, that's not their game. So you can't possibly force the pressing game on Inter Milan for them to play a pressing game. You could clearly tell that when they needed to possess the ball, or when they wanted to possess the ball in their areas, in their in the penalty box, Jan Soma in the penalty box, Dembele was always on the line, always at the arc, ready to attack, ready to press. But when PSG get the ball, Inter Milan doesn't do that. I needed more energy from Lautaro Martinez. He was off in this game. I didn't see Lautaro Martinez in the game. Lautaro Martinez, where did you go, bro? Where were you, bro? Marcus Thuram off in a game. Lautaro Martinez off in a game. They didn't press enough. I told you the midfield of PSG has energy, but the Inter Milan boys has experience in the midfield. But today, energy beats experience. Honestly, energy beats experience. And if you check the full stats of whoscored.com, shot on target, 8 shot on target for PSG, they scored 5 goals, just 2 shot on target. So in the second half, Inter Milan played just 2 shot on target, 23 shots against 8, possession 59 against 41. So it means that in the second half they possessed the ball a little because they needed to attack, and they caught them off guard. Touches in the opposition box, 31 touches in the opposition box, 14 for Inter Milan. What were you doing? Achebe, Bastoni, Jan Soma. They made Jan Soma look like a small boy. Meanwhile, he's not a small goalkeeper. Concede 5 goals in the final. That is an absolute disgrace, bro. Very, 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 very disgraceful results. But of course, congratulations to PSG. I think that they deserve this. They have really worked very, very, very hard for this. A lot of investment, bringing Messi, bringing Neymar, Mbappe, and all the saga. But finally, it was coaching that did the magic for them. Coaching and proper sporting advisory that did the magic for them. And talking about proper sporting advisory, let's talk about Luis Campos. Of course, we will pick up all the people who deserve to be picked up in this particular achievement. But we are starting with Luis Campos. When Luis Campos came into PSG, he is at PSG as a senior football advisor in PSG. He is not a sporting director. No, he is a football advisor, an executive. So he advised the sporting guys on what to do, who to go and pick, how our footballing project, our sporting project is going to be like. So he's like a football or a sporting advisor for PSG. Luis Campos, big shout outs to him. When he came, do away with Neymar, do away with Messi, do away with Mbappe, brought in the Desiree Doues, the Bacolas, the boys, Krita Kvaratskhelia, assembled these boys, brought Luis Enrique on board, and it is a treble for them. Treble for PSG this season. Luis Enrique, dear, bro. I wouldn't say much. I mean, people didn't believe Luis Enrique because of what actually went on in Spain. From Barcelona, Roma, Spain, things didn't went on well. But myself, Kobo, I had so much belief in Luis Enrique, and that was the reason why when Chelsea didn't give him the job, I was fuming that Chelsea didn't give this guy a job, because this is a coach. So Luis Enrique, big shout outs to him. I think this final or this win, it was for his daughter. His daughter, and very, very, very incredible scenes out there, and emotional scenes out there in the Allianz Arena Sports Stadium. We are moving from Luis Enrique to the big man in the room. The big man in the room, Al-Khelaifi. Nazar Al-Khelaifi. Big shout outs to him. He saw the light and invested in PSG, and now Ochaswaba, bro. So of course it is a very good experience for him. Let's listen to this short interview. Big shout outs to CBS Sports, Gulazo, credit to them. Let's listen to this words.
And we've been trying to work for French league, French football, and we've been criticizing what we're doing, what it's just destroying. And I think, it's really hurt, of course, but for me, I was really focusing on our goal. We were really focusing what we want to achieve, and I knew that we're gonna get it. I don't know that year, honestly. It was not planned that we wanted the year, but we know that we're gonna get it because they motivated me. They are pushing.
So you see, Nazar Al-Khelaifi, said all these things, and then of course I am very happy for him. Congratulations to all the PSG boys, and then Nazar Al-Khelaifi. Now let's move to Dembele, and then the Ballon d'Or conversation. Of course, we have to talk about the Ballon d'Or. Dembele had, in this final, people actually think that Dembele didn't do anything in this final. Dembele in this final had 2 assists in the final. They scored 5 goals. He had 2 assists, 51 touches, 3 key passes, 100% crossing rate, and then 100% long balls. So Dembele was impactful in this game. 2 assists in 5-goal glamour in Allianz Arena. Bro, that is impact. So that is Dembele for you. And then before we talk about the Ballon d'Or conversation, let's move to what Dembele has been able to do this season. 54 games, 48 GA. 48 goals and assists in 54 games, 35 goals, 13 assists, Ligue 1 champions, that is like Les Championnats champions, Ligue 1 top scorer, the French Ligue 1 best player of the season, Coupe de France, the French Super Cup, Champions League, 2 assists in the Champions League, Nations League is loading, and Ballon d'Or is also loading for Ousmane Dembele. This is impact. And now let me tell you, people will come. Of course, Lamine Yamal is the closest contender, and I will even put Rafinha ahead of Lamine Yamal, because in Barcelona, Lamine Yamal is not the best player in Barcelona. Let's be real. In the Champions League, Rafinha is the best player in the Champions League, and even in the league, Lamine Yamal is not the best player in the league. So what are you telling me? Lamine Yamal will win Ballon d'Or. Of course, he's the closest because of PR, because of his age. But I am not taking anything away from him. He has performed this season. But in Barcelona, Lamine Yamal is not the best player in Barcelona. It is Rafinha. If we are being too honest. And if it is not, and if we are to do away with PR and look at impact, Rafinha is the best player in Barcelona. So if there should be a contender for Dembele, it should be Rafinha. Because he won the golden boot. I mean, tied with, of course, Seu Grassi. So he won the golden boot. Assist, he's up there. So if we are being honest, it is Rafinha. Well, but PR too, Lamine Yamal. Of course, I'm not taking anything away from Lamine Yamal, but people are saying that. I mean, Laporta has the influence. He's a politician. He knows people. PR. Let me tell you what a PR is. PR is the French football magazine having their beloved son who is contending for the Ballon d'Or. That is Dembele. So French football magazine, Dembele, a French boy, is there. There is no PR like this. And let me tell you, people think that Nazar Al-Khelaifi is not influential in the European game. But let me tell you who this man is. This man is the European Club Association. He is the president. It was Florentino Perez. After the Club World Cup saga, they gave it to Nazar Al-Khelaifi. He moves with Gianni Infantino. He moves with Sefren. They are like this. So if you are talking about PR and you are talking about influence, bro, this is influence. He is the board chairman or the chairman of beIN Sports, one of the biggest, media houses in the world. beIN Sports is responsible for coverage in the whole Asia. So if you are talking about, buying votes, influencing, journalists in the Asia, he is there. He will influence it. Is it about money? He is there. So if you are talking about influence, Don't overlook Nazar Al-Khelaifi in terms of influence. Trust me, don't overlook him. Influence for his boy. Don't overlook him. PSG, and then the best player in the league, French football magazine, and then a French boy Dembele. Ballon d'Or is done. It's done. And then of course he has even Super Cup to play. He has Club World Cup to play. He has Nations League to play. So the Dembele Ballon d'Or conversation there. I mean, as we speak, Dembele should win the Ballon d'Or. As we speak, Dembele should win the Ballon d'Or, and he is the favorite to win the Ballon d'Or. So, ladies and gentlemen, drop all your comment down below. Let me know your comment. What do you think about the Champions League final? I see it as a disgrace for Inter Milan. How do you see it? Drop all your comment down below. This is Kobo Sports Room, and this has been your Champions League final review. Of course, Lama, Ballon d'Or mood. So, thank you so much for your time. Take care of yourselves, and peace.